We are live, guys. Good afternoon, or good evening, family and friends. Hello, how we doing? I hope everybody had a good day. I had a relaxed day. Had some things I had to take care of, but I want to welcome you from the battle to the glory podcast, and we are here with Lady T and a special guest, Mr. Black. Yours truly, the number one fan, guys. No, but it's a pleasure to have him here with us, guys. But before I go into the topic today, we have some sad news. I won't say it's sad, but it's it can be sad for some. But I put it in the chat. A young man, a child that's 5 years old. He has rare cancer, and that's their GoFundMe. Um, that's the link for them. You can read it, open it up, and you can read it. I want to start it off and let you guys know him and his moms are looking for support. It's just them two. They go to my wife's church, so they wanted me to put it on display and ask for any help that they can receive uh, towards their GoFundMe. His name is Braylon. He has a rare condition, cancer. So that is the GoFundMe link. You guys that are looking and hearing my voice, I would love for you guys support them, help them out. You can look at the details and everything. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. With that being said, Mr. Black, how was your day?
A wonderful day. I'm blessed to be here.
Okay,
Blessed
all right,
to be with two of you,
all right.
two of my favorite family members,
I love it. I love it. I love it.
and two of
Lady
my
T.
very favorite podcasters.
Oh, I appreciate that. Lady T, how was your day?
The day was good. It was hectic, busy, but it was good. The days are going by so fast. I mean, so fast. I'm amazed of how time is flying. Like we're close to the end of February. We're at the end of February. Like so
Right. February went quick. It's
yeah.
about end of the March 1st is Saturday. So, it's right here.
Yeah. Yep.
And I am listen. I'm loving it. I'm excited because I have some new things coming up, some new adventures, and I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. And I can't wait for this new journey. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be I'm talking about uplifting, but not only uplifting, but it's about to, for me and mine's, it's about to be a shift, and I love it. I'm excited about it. I'm going to and I'm telling everybody, men's ministry, fellowship up in DC. It's called King Movement. And I can't wait. It's going to be just men there worshiping, praising God, fellowshipping, and we need to see that. And so I definitely now. I said this before. I definitely be having some videos, guys. You guys are going to be able to see it because I'm going to be going live a lot because I really want other people to see it, other men to see that the fellowship, not only the fellowship, the bonding that we're going to create, and I want the world to see it. I mean, it's going to be other people that's going to be broadcasting as well. But just me, I'm just one little person. Just the world that I'm in, I'm going to show it and display it and let people know that to be encouraged because this is what we need as men, not just of color, but just men in general. And that's the most biggest thing for me always. I want to say it's about the men. It's not about the color. It's about men because men, it start with us. We set the tone. We set, the foundation of what a good marriage should be, a relationship should look like, with siblings as well as family members. So that's one of the great things that's coming on. And I can't wait for that, as well as my birthday. Yes, about to be 48. It's yes, right, 48, man. I can't wait to see 50. I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? So that's exciting right there. And then also, I'm going to be joining another podcast on starting next Friday. I'll be with these excellent. I mean, these be some wonderful people, prophets, ministers, evangelists. I will be on Fridays at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. to 10 o'clock. It's called, hold on, let me get it because I got to get it right. The Strategy Room. That's what it's called, the Strategy Room. So I'll be with them on Fridays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And listen, that's big for me. I'm excited about it. So those are the upcoming things that's going to be going on into my life, as well as, let me not forget, and me and Lady T will be doing some episodes live, guys. I can't forget about that. We be going in person. Yes.
One day.
Oh yeah, of course it's gonna be one day. Of course, one day. But the day that we do it, guys, I want everybody to know it won't be during the week. It will probably be on the weekends, and it still will be live. But you guys will have an announcement, and we'll let you know. And most likely, I'm trying my best, if it's God's will, to have a guest when we do it live, not just us two, something different. So,
Oh, you're Esther.
yeah. Hold on, man.
You're getting a good laugh, man.
Yeah, I know.
So, Mr. Black, it's been a long time.
It's been a minute. How you been?
Yeah. I've been good. Going through the waves. We're going through waves right now in the world, right? It's ripples and then there's crashing of waves. So I'm going with it. I'm surfing. I'm not falling.
Since the last time we talked.
Huh?
There's been some changes since the last time we talked.
Yes, it has. There's been many changes, and it's been a while, months. So since you've been, it was like last summer.
Yeah, it was last summer.
Yeah.
But I check in on y'all when I can.
I know. But it's good to have you on.
I'm still waiting for Chef to get a super chat button so I can make contributions.
Ooh, look at that. Wow.
I said that while he was off screen, so I'm glad he didn't hear that.
Right.
You still on mute, Chef?
I said, well, have it inform me.
Oh, we're just talking about supporting your podcasting. How important that is.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, listen, but I always say this, Mr. Black. It's not about fame. What it is about, sharing something that God has poured into my life. And that's the most important thing about it for me. So, God has already blessed me with a great job, a great supporting cast, my wife, and so that's wonderful. So, I accept all the support. And at the end of the day, I want somebody to be blessed by it, blessed by the words that we are speaking, be encouraged, and be, uplifted, what I'm saying, even in their midst of their struggles or whatever it is in their life that's going on. And that's all I want, mostly. It brings me great joy to see people happy. It brings me great joy to see them devoting their life to Christ and just living and just showing that love, that unconditional love, so that brings me joy. So it brings me happiness, laughter. And so that's all I want to do. I always say be contagious to the point, not with a disease, contagious where once you get a taste of it, you want more of it. Like, oh, I can't stop eating this. Yes. So that, that's what I love that, man. I love it. I love the energy, that I give off. And I know the people that surround me love the energy as well. So with that being said, let's just jump right on into the topic of beliefs versus values. So, Mr. Black, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about beliefs versus values? How important is your beliefs versus your values?
I guess to start, for me, a belief is something that you can support, but you don't require proof of it. It's just a belief. Doesn't need, a bunch of evidence. It's just something that you feel. A value is something that you live by. A standard you set for yourself. So one is something that you just feel, but another is a way that you live your life.
All right, so, Lady T, you
I
feel the
agree
same way?
totally. Yep.
All right, so I understand that you're married. So let's talk to the people that is not married. What would you say to a person that's looking for a wife or a husband, right? And what would you say to them to be most important value that you would look into a person and say, you know what, they have to have these type of values? What are those values that you really look at and you say, you know what, you should have a woman, and everybody's different, but you set a standard. So when you look at those values, those are standards. So how would you tell somebody, you know, if they're searching for a wife, the standards that you feel like they should have?
So 23 years into this marriage experience, I'll say the most important thing to a successful marriage is compassion, respect, and patience. And if you as a man practice those three things long enough, if you're lucky, eventually your wife will do the same.
Okay. What you Lacey, why you laugh? Why you laugh? Why you
That
laugh,
was
Lacey?
good. That was a good one. I liked it. It was good.
Thank you. I try. I try to bring a little comedy to this.
Hold on, what you laugh? Lacey,
That
why
was
you
good.
laugh?
That was a good one. I loved it.
What you mean? What you mean?
I mean, I got sons now. I mean, they're probably a minute away from getting married themselves, 19 and 17. But not to give too much information, one of them is seeing someone. And the conversation we have about, that is, respect, make sure that the way they communicate to you is the way you feel respectful. If they disrespect you and in little ways or small ways, you need to address those right away and just let you know what I will not stand for.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be violent. You just have to be clear. As long as you made yourself clear and they keep stepping on those boundaries, then they're telling you that they're just not the right person for you. No matter how much you feel about the other things, your respect is paramount.
Also, okay, all right. Lacey, what do you say?
I agree. That was exactly what I was going to say, actually. We need to be respected each other. We need to show compassion and love. And it's a respect to it when you do that. So we won't accept anything but that. And if you do, you're basically putting yourself down on a level that, you're basically disrespecting yourself to say, I accept less than. So it has a lot to do with compassion, love, patience, kindness, and I think respect has more of a, treat somebody the way you want to be treated.
Okay. Well, I think my biggest thing, I mean, if I were to tell somebody, how to define the right woman for them, first I would say, you got to know yourself. And yes, set boundaries, set standards, not too high for them to reach, but you definitely have to set boundaries. But those boundaries that you set, I think you should understand yourself first. You have to be able to understand yourself as well as love yourself, because you can't really love somebody else if you don't really love yourself. So it start with you. So you as the individual, you have to love yourself, and once you learn yourself, then you'll be able to set those boundaries. But not only set those boundaries, have a standard that you require from that individual. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's like, yeah, respect. But I like we talked about this before, man. I have to have loyalty is king for me. If you're a loyal person, I feel like when you loyal, you're going to respect somebody. Because loyalty comes from the circle that you build. So you want that circle of loyalty. What I'm saying? Everybody's not a friend. Some people are associates. So your closest friends, they're going to be loyal to you because they're close. If they have children, you have children. They're going to bring their children over, and you guys going to go to birthdays, wedding anniversaries, all that type of stuff. So that's a bond that requires loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Some people may be different, but I think loyalty comes with respect, because that you are in a different level with that person, that individual, or that friendship. You know what I'm saying? It's outside of your family. This is a different type of relationship. So, with loyalty, like I said, it comes with respect. But to chime in with the Mr. Black said, is that yes, when you talking to your significant other and you looking for a wife, yes, you respect is key for a man. I think for a man, for a woman too, but every man wants to be respected for his wife, and every wife or woman wants to be loved. You know what I'm saying?
Not respected though. You know, you
No,
wouldn't.
I said respect. Of course, but I think that's the first thing that I could be wrong, but I feel like that the first thing that a man looks for is respect from his woman.
I would think love.
He was getting ready to pull out a switchblade on you with that, jumping over that respect thing.
I know, right? I said I did. Yeah, I did say respect for a woman too. But
be careful when you do that live show.
Word, yeah. Woo. But Lady T, because you said that, right? But there is something that a woman look for in a man first. Not just his money, not just can he be good in the bed, not just that. It's something that automatically comes with the woman. She said, you know what, he got it. This is what excuse me. It could be multiple things, but I feel like you're a woman, so you know more than I know. Look, it's something about a woman that she says, you know what, no matter what, this man has to have this. And I think all men that's looking to be great in a marriage, great in a relationship, I think the number one thing is respect. What do you think? You feel me? What do you think? What do you think?
Meet somebody, when you think about when you meet a person, you initially first meet a person, you're going to see how they interact and their behavior. If there's going to be some type of form of respect, so that's what you base it on when you meet somebody. Is how the conversation goes. Is there a respect in the way we communicate with one another, interact with one another? So the love comes down later in the line if it's possible. So I was thinking respect for both, man and woman.
What do you say, D? What's the first, like, when you, without getting too personal, when you first met your wife, what was the first thing you said? You know what? This is the woman for me. What was the first thing that stood out to you that's like, you know what? As you grew with her, as you guys bonded. Sorry. What was the first thing that stuck out to you?
I think the thing, I mean, the superficial aside, because you see my wife, the superficial aside, I think the first thing I was really impressed by her was how intelligent she was, and she was motivated. She had goals, not ghetto, not a ride or die thing. Very smart, had goals, wanted to do something with life, and I respected that because it pushed me. I wasn't at that same level she was. I had ideas about what I wanted to do, but she had really lofty ideas. And so that was like, I have to really step up my game a little bit to keep up here. And I think I've achieved more than I would have on my own because I had that push from her.
Okay. Lady T?
What was the question again?
No question, but I mean, like, I'm saying, like, if you was to talk to someone and try to encourage them, say, like, let's say one of your girlfriends came to you, right, and was saying, I think about this guy and he's X, Y, and Z. What would be some advices you would give her to say, well, is he a man of faith? What would you say? I'm curious. Like,
I wouldn't say much. I would ask a lot of questions, like, how do you feel about him? How long y'all been together? Like, how is the relationship when you're not together? I would ask a whole bunch of questions to see how she feels about the situation. But I don't really give advice until I know what the issue is, or if there's some type of issue, or you know what I mean. But I think that what you're asking me is, if I had a girlfriend, and she is trying to be in a relationship with someone, I would, say follow your heart. I do say that a lot because, our heart is something that we are supposed to, take care of. Yes, I'm saying sane people. Okay. I'm not going to sit up here and say everybody, but I'm saying everybody that's thinking logically, knows about the other person, can evaluate and say this is the best decision. Not abusive, not a person that's neglecting, rejecting, none of that. We're talking about a good relationship. So I would just, ask her how she feel about her heart with him and see how she feels and let her express herself. I'm not good with these type of questions. I just want you to know. I just want you to know. This is not what I'm going to do.
So let me talk to Mr. Black then. So we talked about the relationship. What was the most important thing that interests you? But let's talk about values. The relationship that you have with her parents, and vice versa. Like, how was that? Was that something that you looked at and say, you know what, I want to see the relationship she had with her parents? Was that something important? I know you, so I know. But for the viewers that don't know you, was that important for you?
Well, when you're considering whether you want this person as family for the rest of your life, you do have to understand what they came from, that's going to be part of your family as well. So you need to be able to know that you can get along with them, that their values are close enough that you will not have conflict, particularly if you're going to have children, because they're going to have their ideas on how children should be raised and how things will go on in their house. And you want to have that match what you want for your own child. So when I met her parents, I could definitely tell they were very different than people I had known most of my life. They're suburban. They were social workers at the time. So they have a really different approach than what I am used to. But they were always very warm and comforting and helpful, and people I love very much and glad are part of my lives.
Okay.
But it was good to see how again, I'm not going to go into too much detail personally, but it was nice to see the dynamic they had with each other, because that gave me an idea of, okay, what my wife, what the model is that she has built around her head, So is that something that's sustainable for me? Is that something, I can achieve? Something to help me understand when she comes to me for expectations for marriage, to know really where they came from is from looking at her parents. So understanding them was important.
I say, and that's that, and I asked you that question because that's key for the people who are looking to have a relationship, looking to build a marriage around that. Those are the values that you really have to look into. You have to know the individual's parents, their upbringing, how it will make a difference in your relationship. It's if the moms and dad are together versus not together, and how the relationship is between the two, the mother and the father. That's important. And I think, those are values that, I was brought up on, Lady T was, Brother Black was, we was brought up on that. And that's important, because that's how you really get to know the woman or the man in the, from within, the parents. You don't think so, Lady T? Making that?
Yeah.
No?
Every time you do that, I feel like it's so hard, because there are so many people out there that don't have the mother father in their life, or there might be problems with the relationship with the mother father. So, everybody does not have a strong background when it comes to their parents, and so when you do that, it just kind of, it excludes people. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't want it to look like we're looking at people as, okay, if you only see the mother and the father of the person you want to be with, but that's why, and me, I always have that, oh, well, maybe the other side, because the other side is real, is out there. So, but that was why. And when we have these conversations about relationships, I try my best not to say too much. Okay.
Why not? Well, okay, I got you.
Yeah,
but check us out though. Let's look at therapy, right? Therapy is big now. That's the reason why. When you have, I feel like, when you have a one parent home, right? Whether it be a man or a female, right? That person needs help mentally and physically. Let's say the father is not supporting the woman, right? While they're raising a child, they need help. So you can't just say it's not mental. So now you looking to get married with somebody else. Now you have to, that's what I'm saying. You have to dive into getting a relationship with the parents, knowing what they stand for, what they believe versus what they don't. Does it match up? Does it line up with you? And if you decide to have a relationship with that person, you have to know, okay, man, is this a problem that I'm willing to deal with? That's up to you. That's your choice. But know this, it's and it's not to downplay or anything saying it's not possible, but there is some type of unbalance. It's unbalanced. Whether it is you can do it versus you can't do it. How do you feel about that, Mr. Black?
You know, it's hard to say because every relationship is so unique, you know, and what works in one person's relationship doesn't work at all in someone else's. But on the subject of balance, I will say in my relationship, we have come up with, I think, a very good balance. We don't have the same beliefs. And in a lot of ways, we don't have the same values. But I think where we have the shared mutual value is we don't hurt the other one. So even when we disagree about certain things, it's just, you know, we say our disagreement without trying to hurt the other person. That's the important thing. Like, you know, you remember our upbringing, church every Sunday, sometimes twice on Sunday, 3 times if it was serving dinner on Sunday.
I know that's right. Go ahead.
And, you know, my wife did not grow up going to church regularly. You know? So there's a difference in set of, you know, either beliefs or values, which you want to call it. But we're respectful of each other about those things. And when I told her it was important to me that the children or that we try, she was open to going to different churches to see if she found one that worked for both of us. So she was willing to do that. She never mocked it. She never was never disrespectful. But she had her own, she had her lines too of what she would accept and not accept at a church.
Okay.
That's a beautiful example because you started off saying that you have different values and different beliefs, but you guys made it so that you don't hurt each other. And that's it's a profound thing to, you know, say you don't hurt one another, even though you might have different values or beliefs, and you worked it out. You know, you compromise somehow. And the mock thing, when I heard you say that, a lot of people mock, you know, have something underneath their breath with a mocking comment, and it's not good. That's very toxic, but we do it a lot in our relationships. And to avoid doing that in relationship is very important, I think. That is like, you know, you can have a stable relationship when you keep all that negative talk out, you know, mocking or being sarcastic. That is something I'm working on. I know I have a sarcastic mouth too. So, you know, that's just something that, you know, we grow into or out of, but that was beautiful.
I like how you said that though. And how long you have been married?
Be 23 years this May.
23 years. And that's a wonderful thing. 23 years.
7 more years I can retire.
Huh?
7 more years and I can retire.
Okay.
Retire from work?
From work, yeah.
30 years plus 55. That's retirement right there.
Oh, retire from work?
No, retire from marriage. 30 years of service plus 55 years of age. I'll be eligible for full pension.
Oh man. But listen, look, you got two beautiful sons, handsome sons, shall I say. And look, they're doing well. So you guys did a great job. So you already know, you know, tip my hat off to that because, you know, when I first met them, it was a pleasure to be around them, have a conversation with them. And then, you know, I see you two still married, still holding on, still strong. That's a wonderful thing. And that's what we want the world to see. We want to let people know that there are marriages that last. And you're making an example right now. You're showing, you know, different values, different beliefs, but you guys, you know, did it, made it, and still doing it, you know, so that's important. And so, you know, that's what we encourage. That's what I'm talking about. You know, I want to get there. I'm only 5 years in. I got a long way to go.
Also, I like how you said that you know how your beliefs are different, but I would imagine that when you were saying that you guys were looking for a church at the time, you know, I kind of think that the formation of the beliefs could possibly change with time, you know, because, you know, the experience of, you know, an education and the experience of life together. So I was just thinking about how, you know, beliefs could possibly change being in a relationship because the other one is help the other person understand something of, you know, they didn't know before because of their own experience and their own education. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can agree to that. I was getting ready to say, but with mine's, the first thing that for me and Esther was her relationship with God. Like I've been married before, so being married before and it wasn't successful, but going into a new one, I was like, listen, I want a woman that has a heart after God, fearing God, and just her desire is awesome. Her zeal for God is what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? So that was key for me. Like I ain't want nothing else. And like I said, I'm probably a hard cookie to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And and I say that in love because sometimes we don't agree with things. She don't agree with me sometimes, right? But I tell you what, we don't argue. Some people say, "Oh, arguing is good." No, I'm not. I don't agree to that. I'm not arguing. We have a disagreement. We're gonna come to a solution either that same day or another day. We're not talking about it right now. Especially when she's upset or I'm upset. I don't want to talk about it right now. I've been to therapy and everything. I told the therapist, listen, when I say I'm not talking about it, I'm not talking about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But guess what? We have an understanding, like Brother Black. They had an understanding. We got to understand. Like we don't yell at each other. We don't argue. I don't want that. So and I say that to everybody. Work on that. Arguing is. I don't feel like arguing is good. We could talk about stuff, have a disagreement. If you can't, keep your voice at a moderate tone, you shouldn't do that. Come back to the conversation. Come back and talk about it. When you come, look at Lady T making his face because she can't do that. I know.
I'm working on myself. Okay, I'm getting
better. I
It's my
know.
facial expressions. I can't help it. Sometimes, and being on camera, I'm like, oh God, I did it again. Your eyebrow moves, and when somebody says something, you be like, my face does it.
Yeah. And that comes with practice. It's like anything. You got to practice at it. You got to work at it. You got to work at the marriage. You got to work at relationships. And I said in this 2025, one relationship that I'm working at, well, two relationships I'm really working at. Well, three. I gotta say three because if I miss her, she gonna go upside my head. I got this three relationships I really want to focus on and make it better. You know what I'm saying? Just be better. Is my sister, my daughters, and my wife. Just making it better. It's not perfect. I'm talking about make it to the way you be like, oh my goodness, you see these two days? That's perfect. Oh, they look perfect. It's not perfect, but it looks. You know what I'm saying? And that's my goal for 2025 for real. Like I really want to work on those relationships. I got good relationships with other people, but it's dumb. It's just those three, those four. It's important because you know what? That's my family. I'm the steward, and I have to, work at that. So, that's my belief and my values. I'm big on family. And we talk about other people. We're trying to encourage them that relationships are important. Different relationships that you decide to have. It's important. Communication is key to all those relationships. You got to have a way of communicating. Everybody love language is different, right, Lady T?
Of course.
How was your
You,
love
you
language?
believe in love languages?
Do I?
Yes,
Oh, he does. We hear it a lot.
The five love language things. I mean, you believe?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Hey, D, do you believe in it?
Not really.
Oh, well, here I got a story for you.
Okay.
Since you don't believe in it, right? A child that gets hugged on a regular grows up with that type of mentality. Mom and dad always hugging and kissing. So they grow up with that same type of love. It's called touch. It's a touch love. You know what I'm saying? So they when they grow up, because mom and dad did that all the time, they know that. You know what? That's showing love. Versus a mother or father that does not show that, they'll have that same mentality. They're not going to hug. They're not going to give them a kiss. Their children a kiss. So they're going to duplicate what they saw growing up. And the same thing. So it's a touch love. You know what I'm saying? So if your mother and father didn't hug you and kiss you, good night, I love you, son, love you, daughter, right? They didn't do that. You're going to grow up. Most likely you'll grow up doing the same thing. So it's a love language. So now watch this. I just told my daughter this. I just said, Imani, you never hug daddy. You should hug me. It's more than just saying, I love you, dad. Give me a hug. Now my daughter's starting to give me a hug because I told her it shows the real love. Like you hugging me and saying that I love you, dad. It's something different. It's a different feeling. You know, I used to hug her all the time. But now she's older. She's grown. She's like, oh, dad. I said, no, it's not about that. It's about when you hug me, you feel different. I'm your dad. Like, man, dad, I need that hug versus not giving it to him. Now, let me ask you a question. It might be a little personal. Do you hug your sons and give them a kiss?
At what age?
They grown. It's okay for that. They grown.
I hug my children all the time.
Okay.
I don't think I've kissed them.
In a manly way. I mean, in a manly way. You know, of course, I'm talking about manly way.
I understand. I'm trying to think of the last time my lips made contact. Let's see. Top of the head.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Yeah. Yes. There you go.
Yeah, so, you know, but that's part of it.
But when they were very young, it would always be like a kiss on the cheek, a big hug, pick you up in the air, that kind of thing. Yes. But, yeah, other than top of the head during a hug, that's probably about it.
It's the same thing. Look, you think about there are children, young children, parents always yelling, cursing at them. They grow up. That's the atmosphere that they grow up in. And guess what? That's how they'll be. You know, do you agree with that, Lady T? Because you got that face.
Well, when you were talking at first, you were saying that the child that's around parents that always, you know, affectionate, kissing and hugging. I was like, some kids probably don't like that as they get older. You know, I can imagine, you know, there are going to be children out there that be like, don't do that. Don't touch me, you know, because it was not what they wanted. There's people out there like that had a certain, what you call love language, and they didn't want it looked good because it looks good, right? You like it when it looks good. It looked good, but it wasn't what they wanted. It was something that they are not comfortable with in their own body. You know, I could imagine that. I can't say it's only one way. That's what I was thinking. You have a one way of thought of this is it and it's only this. And I look at it like, man, I think it's a little bit different. That's all. You know me. I'm gonna go against the grain. You know me.
We and everybody else know that.
I can't help it.
But that's how. Look, okay, let's look at our values. That's how we get our values, by what we see our parents do, right?
Yeah.
But we see them and we grow up and we say, you know what, I like those values versus I don't like those values.
Yeah, but see, my parents, they were very loving. My parents were very loving. I was very different. I did what I wanted to do. Yeah. They always say I was rebellious. I was rebellious and I did what I wanted to do. And I enjoyed life. Yes, made mistakes. I can sit up here and tell you mistakes all day long, but I wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like I did not kill anybody. It hurt emotions. Definitely. I hurt feelings. Definitely. Did I have to go and say, I'm sorry? Yes. But when I look back, I still did what I did, even though I had great parents that were loving and they showed love. They did everything. I did not follow their footsteps. You know, I looked at it like, that's not me. You know, I just did what I wanted to do because my expression of life is not the same as their expression of life. I looked at as, and now don't get me wrong, my insecure days where I wasn't sure of myself, I'm walking around lost and confused, that's totally different. But once I accepted the fact that I was led in every direction that I was supposed to go into, and I have no worries about it, I looked at it as I love my parents, but I couldn't be like them. You know, my sisters are kind of close, very close to how they are. You know what I mean? And I'm total opposite. And I listen to people that, you know, have relationships and I'm happy for them, you know, but that's not my life. That never has been my life. I can't tell you I've been in a long distance or long relationships longer than, let's say, 7 years. That's a big thing, you know, being in my close to my 50s, right? Like that's just not my life. But I respect those that had that. But I accept the fact that that was not for me, has not been for me. And I don't blame, I don't put a shame. I look at it as that's my experience and I'm grateful. But I can't look and say my parents had anything to do with it because they're still together. They're still loving. They show love. They did their part. You know, they were good. They were good parents to me. So I'm grateful for it, but I'm different. And that's why I say there are different people out there like me that don't go with what it looks like it should be good looking. You know, the love, hugs and kiss. Don't get me wrong. I love my daughters. I'll be kissing them all the time, even as they're grown. They know that. I get the neck. I get the kisses on the neck thing. But, you know, other than that, you know, it's more like I'm just going to be myself and everybody's supposed to just be themselves and be accepted as who they are. And we look at it as, okay, they're doing who they're supposed to be as their life and character. We all have characters in life. We are all characters and we are playing our role. I'm playing my role my best I can. That's all.
Now, so you ever thought about the rebellious? Where did it come from?
Oh, yeah. Because when I was young, I would hear what I was supposed to do and I'm like, okay. And then it would disappear. And then I would forget what it was I was supposed to do. So I would be like a child and do what I wanted to do. So it was more of me being free, hearing something, but then forgetting what it was I was told to do. And so now I'm older, I'm remembering things from my past. And I was like, wow, it's just funny how things come back to you. But I've always heard something, but it never resonated long enough and strong enough for me to be doing what it was I was told to do, like supposed to do. Like you hear it, like we all hear something, right? And you'll hear it and be like, yeah, that's a good idea. And it disappears. That's how it was for me. And I accepted that. But I never understood why. And I had a lot of insecurities with, you know, my decisions in life. But there was a time when I knew, you know, rock bottom, I have to make a change. What is it about me? And then that's when revelation came. And that's when life started changing for me. But it's always, look at it like this. People are who they are. They're in their body doing the best they can in the decisions they're supposed to do in life. And we just have to allow them to figure out their process as it's supposed to. We can be loving towards them and try and give them compassion and tell them, you know, this is the best way that might help you, but they're going to make the decision on their own. They're going to decide what they want to do. And we have to respect that. And I did have a lot of respect through my journey in this life, through my family. They loved me. They hated my decisions. I know they did. But they loved me enough to respect my decision and still love me, you know. And so I look at that as that is true love. That's what we're supposed to do as Christians, especially.
So can I ask two of you, how can you tell the value that you hold is a healthy value for you to hold?
Lady T, go ahead. I'll answer after you.
Healthy values means that there is some type of increase meaning you can see the fruit come, you know, if it's good fruit or bad fruit, right? Something fruit wise, like some type of increase, some type of, you know, you're producing. So if your value is producing something that is beneficial to your life or somebody else's life, that value should be held. That's how I see it. If the value is helping in a loving and compassionate, kind, considerate, you are giving and not taking, you are about another person, you are showing love, I think that value needs to stay. If it's decreasing or if it's like toxic, if it's taking away from somebody, if it's stealing from somebody the joy that they could have in life, that value should go.
Well, I just want to add to that. You said distinguished. How is it good? The value. It's for me is adding to your life. Things that are adding to your life. If you have, let's say you have a relationship with coworkers, and all they want to do is party. They're not adding anything to your life. Only thing is hurting you. Those are friends, those are colleagues, but they're not adding no value to your life. They're nothing. They're not adding anything positive. What they're doing is allowing you to keep your body at a standstill, damaging it, always doing. And if they're doing drugs, so that's no value to your life. It's not adding to your life. You want things that's going to add to your life. You know, let's say you have a business, you want people around that's going to support you, that's going to give you ideas, that's going to help you prosper, that's going to help you, be the best entrepreneur that you can be. So when you look at those values, that's what you want. When you, like you said, when you take away from that, you take time away from that. So when I should be focusing on my work and you come along and you say, hey, let's go and get some lunch, and now it's not adding to my focus. You know what I'm saying? So those values like that, it's negative. Like you said, it's negative. You know what I mean? So when you look at those things, you always want values to add to your life, not take away. So yeah, that's what I would say.
But when we were talking, I thought about it. I have to retract on it because taking away something sometimes is necessary. Like, let's take, for instance, somebody is smoking cigarettes and, they value the fact that they love cigarettes. It's so delicious. And, they just love it, right? But that's taken away from the body. I would want to see that person take that away, so there is a takeaway. When I say it, there is something that will add value once you take it away, because it's something that needs to be cut out of your life. There are certain situations that people go through where they're dealing with toxic people, let's say. And when you're dealing with toxic people, it's hard to get them cut out of your life. And sometimes you have to do necessary things and actions and act on a behavior to get them out of your life. So that's why I say, when I kept saying adding, there is times when you will have to take away, because it only benefits you in the long run once you get it out of your life. It's that thing that's not good for you, basically.
See, I would tell you, I think I have a value that is equally helpful in my life, but also could be harmful. And something I've always valued is independence. Self-sufficiency was always big on me when I was little. I wanted to be able to do it myself, learn how to do things on my own. I didn't want to depend on somebody else to take care of me and do those things. Maybe somehow I felt like they'd either hold it over my head or take it away from me so I could do it on my own. But that does not always make being in a marriage easy. Because I think your partner wants to feel like, I want to be able to help you with something, because they care. And you're like, nah, I want to be able to do it myself. And so it's figuring out when that value that is helpful in one aspect of your life, maybe causing friction in other aspects of your life. And how do you find that balance?
All right. So, Lady, you want to say?
No, go ahead.
So what I want to say to you is that if you said independent, right? But you got to remember, when you and your wife came together, it's always been help me. So now, no matter how much you feel like you want to do it all by yourself, that's what she's there for. When you feel like you can't do it, she's there to help you. No matter what, when you going down, she's there to uplift you. You know what I'm saying? When you having a rough day, she's there to uplift you. So it just like, let's just look at our bodies. We have two hands. What if we had only one hand? You have two, husband, wife, two. When there's two, it's better than one. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't always. Well, now you've grown because you realize it. I mean, that's how I see it when I analyze it. And I'm saying is that you got to always remember that that's what she's there for, to support you. She's your support. What if you mom and dad didn't support you? She's going to be a bigger supporter. She's going to be your everything. Like when things get rough, she's going to. I feel like your two brains versus just one. It's more powerful to have two brains working together. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. It's just, I guess one of my hang up is support makes me feel weak. Like I couldn't do it on my own. And that is really troubling for me.
But okay, so you are the one that brought it, like you recognize it. So this is something that's good. Like you could actually say to yourself, like put down some things that you would want your wife to do with you. Like you could think about those things, like start thinking of things that you want to have her do, not independently by yourself, but you would want her to be a part of. Write them down. That's a good way to start it, just to get the thought process in your mind, because you're so used to doing it by yourself. You got to kind of train your brain to start thinking that I'm going to include my wife, because I and think about it also like this. You've been independent for so long. Now it's time to ease into the seat a little bit. Just get a little comfortable and let your wife come on in, and y'all lock arms a little bit with, whatever that project is, because this is the time when you're in another stage in life where you are now having to just ease into it, where you're not having to work so hard all the time by yourself. I understand when you are, having young children, you have to be the man, you have to do a lot on your own, take care of things, do the initiative part, and a lot of parts in your life. I get that. But now that your children are older and they're walking in their own direction, you are going to have a new chapter that you could lean back into your chair a little bit. So just think about those things that you want to work with your wife on. That's what I would say, and start writing them down, and then make it your goal. That's something that you are thinking about. So it's on you. I think that's a good way to start, is thinking about it.
Well, I commend you on acknowledging that, because that's big. Just acknowledging that is a big step, and know this: that's what she's there for. Y'all been married for these years, all these years, and yes, it's okay to have your significant other, your spouse, your wife, help you. It depends on the help too. You know what I'm saying? I can say this right now. I know this for sure. This ain't no opinion. This a fact. A woman use both sides of their brain. A man only use one side.
Well, that's why they shop twice as much as we do.
I mean, they do. Hey, look, I got a wife. I know they do, but but we not talking about that. We talk about the help thing. The help. We talk about the help. Okay, but look. But no, seriously.
Can't let her watch this episode.
But listen, man. I'm telling you, like, it is something unique, and I think that's how God made women. That's why He said, "Help me." It's so much better to have your wife helping you in certain things. I'm not saying I got to do everything, It's good. It's good, and it's therapeutic. It's helpful. Not just having that weight on your shoulders all the time. You know what I'm saying? To like she said, sit back a little bit, babe. Look, I can't do this thing, man. Can you? Whatever it is, even if it's financial, because guess what? If you guys are on the even playing field, guess what? Sometimes you be like, babe, I need you to do that, and she be like, okay, babe, no problem. It's good to hear that. I got it, babe. Sit back, relax. I got you. You know what I'm saying? So, it's definitely something that, like she said, write it down. Like, look, I can't do this, babe. I need you to help. And not be too proud to say that. I think now that you said that, I feel like it's pride.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, if you already admitting to pride, you got to put that aside. You got to let your pride go and say, you know what? And say this. I guarantee you, once you let that weight off your chest, you're going to feel much better. You be like, babe, Go ahead, Lady T, about to say something.
Yeah, it's going to take a little time because
Yeah.
pride is hard to, let go easily. So that's why I say write down the ideas that you think would probably be good and start looking at them regularly, because it will help you ease into, that gradual stage of y'all getting together, doing it together. So it's like training your brain. It really is like when you start putting it down. Huh?
So is pride a value or a belief?
Pride?
Yeah.
That's neither one.
What is it?
Pride.
No, that's neither one.
I feel like pride is a value.
No. You no.
I kind of.
First of all, pride is definitely it hinders you. It hinders you.
But pride is necessary. You have to have pride.
You have to have some pride in yourself. Yeah. Otherwise, you can't have respect in yourself.
Okay, watch this. There's a difference. We are all three here, and I'm saying it. There's a difference to having confidence and pride. I am a confident person. Lady T is a confident person. D, you are a confident person. But pride is when you walk with pride. Listen, your head is up. You the big stuff. You the hot stuff. That's a pride. You like, what? You look belittle. You look at people sometimes and you say, you what? You can't even amount to me. That's the pride. The character of pride. But now when you are confident, listen, no matter what you say about me, I say, okay, whatever you say. I know within me that I'm strong, smart, not dumb, not an idiot. I know that already.
Confidence is what you can do. Pride is what you've done.
Proud of yourself. Yeah.
Confidence means when this comes, I can handle it. Pride is, look what I already did.
Yeah.
So, now look what you said. You use two different words. They do not mean the same. Proud and pride. Two different words. They do not mean the same. Am I correct?
You tell me what's the difference?
I'm proud of the accomplishments that I have done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But now pride is something, you know what? I'm bragging. It's another word. Pride is another word for bragging.
No. We look up the definition.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yes.
Pride, the quality or state of being proud. So, pride.
Put in a sentence, please. Put in a sentence, please, because you ain't gonna use one definition. Let's go. Put it in a sentence.
What you mean? Put it in a sentence? I just read the definition.
No, put it in a sentence.
Well, the pride I just looked up is not exactly what I'm talking about. It's a different kind of pride.
Yeah,
I'm talking more.
Come on, D, talk to me. Talk to us now. Come on.
I'm not talking about nothing wrong with that pride, but that's not what I mean today.
Come on.
When I say pride, I guess people have told me it's arrogance when it comes from me, but I passed the bar first time in a hard state. I am proud of that because I know the work I put in.
Yeah.
Oh, look what you just said. Look, that is something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You are proud about that,
right?
But when you begin to be prideful, not proud, pride, right? You boast and you brag. Those are synonyms for pride. You boasting. You don't have to tell nobody that, I'm great. Let others say that you are great. It comes different.
That's conceit. And that's different.
What's conceit? What's conceit?
What you brag when you said you were bragging, that's more conceit. You're conceited.
God said, get the pride spirit out of there, first of all.
Dennis, you might be right. Prideful here says having an excessively high opinion of oneself.
But what definition is that? Exaggerated self-esteem. That's like later down.
Don't try to switch it up.
For prideful.
Oh, prideful. Okay, prideful.
Prideful.
Yeah, prideful. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but now when you listen, I'm proud of all the accomplishments I have done. Like D said, like Mr. Black said. Right? Guess what? When I went to culinary school, right? I had the full-time job and went to school full-time. And when I tell you every day I was humping, I was like running every day. Get up, I had to be in class at 7 a.m., right? On time. Then I had to go to work, be to work at 3 o'clock. And it was a 2.5-hour drive, but on the train, it's 2 hours, almost 3 hour drive. I had to do all that every day. Going and do. So guess what? I'm proud of that. I accomplished that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't walk around like, yeah, I'm this big chef and you can't cook. No, I
But
don't do that.
Mr. Black, you were not talking in that way. You weren't saying the pride of, putting yourself as being conceited. So I want to know what you were referring to, because we kind of went off.
So
Go ahead.
when I say pride, I'm using the definition of like conscious of one's own dignity.
Mhm.
Have a deep sense of satisfaction about my own achievements. And so when I let other people help, it's no longer my achievement, you know?
Ah,
That's the problem is like I put so much value in what I can do. Because I want you to say, look what I accomplished. And I think sometimes, they can be difficult in relationships when people want to help you and you don't accept that help, because I think sometimes my wife thinks it's because I don't think she can do it. It's more because I need to be able to,
Yep. Well, have you ever considered like looking at it like this? This is how I look at some things. I'm a teacher and a student at times. Like I know when somebody's being a teacher and I'm the student. Have you ever considered that because you know certain things, you could be the teacher and you can have them, whoever it is, be a student type? You don't have to say that to them, but you are being in a way a teaching stage of life where you are giving your information and your knowledge and your experience to that person to help them grow, because you got it in you, but now it's time to give it out to the other person. That's a teacher, that's a master teacher, that's an expert, that's a person that knows how to get whatever it is done, and they're teaching others how to do the same.
That's a good way to think about that. I have to write that one down and see if I can apply it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you for that input. Appreciate it. Very wise, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I like being on the show. It's so much harder to type all this into a comment and get this kind of feedback from the two of you.
Yeah. But listen, I'm proud that you acknowledge that. Like I said, I commend you on that, because that's that, and knowing that is something that you had to work on. But it's okay. Like she said, like Lady T said, man, listen, write it down. It's okay. You know what I mean? That's how we become better stewards of our family. Even though you're young men, they men now, so they going on. So now it's just gonna be you and the missus. Woo-wee.
New
Oh
chapter.
my word! Because I know it's a new chapter here. Because all the kids is gone. It's just me and wifey. Boy, I tell you, it's something different.
So that leads into something else I want to talk to you about. Being that we're all parents and our children are grown-ish, most of them. What sort of values did you try to instill in them, and how successful do you feel that you were? Or if you weren't successful, are you glad you weren't?
I'll let Lady T go first.
Okay. I tried, but I wasn't very good at it, because my daughter's father is a good dad. He's a good dad. He spoils his daughter, so it's overdoing it. So I had a hard time trying to instill certain values in my children. But the one thing I did was don't get pregnant while you're young. I used to say that all the time, because I was pregnant when I was young, and I showed them, told them, explained to them the struggles I had to go through. So I think my experience in telling them over and over helped them, because, they're older and they say they've always remembered that. But I think the honesty was something I really wanted to, instill in them. They are honest, but I learned that they lied. They would lie on their papers for college and write these extravagant stories to, put on their paperwork in college. And I was listening to these things and I'm like, why are you doing that? Because I have to write a story. But I was like, but isn't it supposed to be your life? And, so I think the things I, would love to say I instilled in my children, some things like the honesty. That was one thing. They are honest, but it's more like they will tell you what, and I've done it too, don't get me wrong, tell you what you need to hear type people sometimes, and they're young, I get it. But when it comes to, and I think that they have been raised with, me having Me being out of the house. They lived with their dad at certain times. They lived with me at certain times. We did a lot of back and forth. It was like their values were, he said one thing and I said another. So it was difficult. So my situation, I can say, was very difficult, but they're good girls. It's just, I wish that it would have been different. I do think that everybody that has a family, because I grew up having both my parents in the house, everybody that has that luxury of life and privilege, it's a beautiful thing. And I would love to say that was for my children, but I can't. So the values aren't as strong as what it was for me growing up, is what I'm trying to say with all that said. So, Jeff?
Yeah, well, I think I could have done better, but I didn't do a great job. But far as my values and one thing I could say that um, for my daughters, well, my oldest daughter, I'm beyond transparent. My oldest daughter, I really didn't spend that much time because she lived out of state and I didn't see her that much. So I have more of rapport with Imani. That's the baby girl. So respect, respect to elders always. There was no, talking back. Uh, the faith thing is a little difficult because me and the mother, we didn't see eye to eye with that. So, do she believe? Yes. Do she have a relationship? I'm not too sure on that. She have her own views. So, but I can tell you this: she know that I stand for Christ, and I do have a love for Christ. So she respects that. We talk about it, time for time. But she's growing into her own self. But we have open door policy where we communicate with one another. We talk personal things. So I think our communication level is good. So it's hard to say for me. No, really, I'm being honest. It's hard because
you brought that up about the church, right? You were saying about spiritual. Was that what you were saying earlier?
Yeah.
And I thought about myself and I was like, yep, I'm the same as you. It wasn't as strong as what I was grown up on.
Yeah.
Going to church twice on Sunday, 3 times on Sunday. Yeah.
That's why I'm big on just, finding the right wife, finding the right husband, also having 2 parents in the home. It's like that are going to work at it, not one person not working at it. They're going to work at it, and it plays a big part on the children that grow up. It's big and it's detrimental. And that's why I'm always talking about, these type of marriages. It's not make believe. It's something that you have to work at. And I truly, and I commend anybody that has long marriages and they work at it, because that's what people need to hear. Is just decide to be with this woman or this man for the rest of your life. It's important. And when Monty was little, we went to church every Sunday. Sometimes, it was church on Sundays. Sometimes it was Bible study. So, that's when she was younger. When she got a little like 11, 12, it stopped because me and the mother was going through our situation. So that type of relationship, with the church stopped, even for myself. So, that was the foundation. But now, like I said, she know of him, the whole faith and God, she know it. So right now we talk a little bit about it right now. I pray about it, and hopefully I'll be led to show her the way in the due time that she's supposed to. So,
So let me add something about the honesty thing, because I have been talking about this lately. So my daughters are growing up and they're trying to figure out themselves. Like they're in that stage of, what am I doing with my life? Where am I going to go, out in the world? So I always say, be honest with yourself. Like I've been saying, be honest with who you are, what you want to do, figure out who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and then see if you can adjust your emotions to go into the world and find that passion, that desire that you really like. So, and I say honesty because I wish I had taught them when they were young how to know how to be themselves, like look within themselves to be honest about what they feel, what they thought, not what outside people say and do. Because I know I put a lot of what I believed on them. I know their dad probably did, but I should have, I felt like I should have tried to do some type of, well, what do you like? Getting more information about them at a young age where they can grow up and have that foundation of me asking and me being involved and getting their honesty and their truth out of them for them to communicate themselves to me and to other people. Because people are, I say for my daughters are shy. They got me in them and they don't really talk that much and they don't express themselves that much. And I love to see young people, young adults do that expression to it, say what they are, who they are, and be honest, and open. And transparency is very good. We're not transparent most of the time about ourselves, but it would be good to be able to say, that's a cool person because they really do say what they feel and you can see it. You can tell by their life and their walk.
Something that I want to emulate with how much time I have left, because I'm more than halfway through it now, is to be honest, but to be honest in a kind way. I think for a long time I would be honest, but only when I got angry enough. Now I want to be honest, just a calm honesty or confident honesty. So yeah, those are good things. One thing I would like to share, but I don't know how much more time you want to give us, Chef. One way I'm very thankful for my wife that we do have different values and beliefs in certain ways is that I think somehow our kids have landed in the middle. And I think the middle that they're in is a healthier place than each one of us is. I am a pretty selfless person, probably give too much. And my wife is I'll say it's going to come out the wrong way, but she's very self-centered, not selfish or not mean, but she's like, hey, I'm not going to get outside of my comfort zone to help somebody else. Not too far out of it. I get way outside of my comfort zone to help somebody else. And so my kids, I think, have landed somewhere in the middle, and I'm good. It's good to see that. So that's a good way when you're in a good marriage, that those different values can actually have a benefit for the next generation.
Yeah.
Well, since you said that, I definitely could say that when it comes down to Imani, she's shy at first. But once she get comfortable with you, she's like talking. So she get into the atmosphere. Once she get familiar with you, she's like, hey, how you doing? Like, her and Danny, man. Oh my goodness. They was like, you would think they real brother and sister. Their connection. I was like, yes. Like they treat each other like brother and sister. They have talks. And I'd be like, oh, y'all was talking and y'all ain't say nothing. But it shows her personality is more so than her mom's is me. She don't like arguing. She'll shut down. I'm the type of person that I shut down. I'm not arguing with you. Okay, whatever. I walk away. Like I'm not giving that, that fight. I used to when I was a kid, but now I'd be like, I got no space for that at all. Imani the same way. So when you look at some type of values like that, it's like she don't have no fight when it comes to arguing like that. She walk away. She's like, I don't got no space for that, no energy for it.
Her daddy.
Yeah. I'm out of here. Like, look, I used to fight when I was a kid, but now I'd be like, what? Fight? I'm good. I'm okay. Keep that energy.
I'm actually proud to see that you don't feel like you need to fight anymore. You did. And I'm not saying that was a flaw. There's a lot of things going on in life that make somebody where fighting is necessary. I'm just glad to see you at a place in the world where you don't have to do that. And I'm happy to see you at that place.
It feels good too. It really does. To be in that atmosphere of, I ain't got no fight in me at all. And
Lady T, you can keep your fight because it's good for you.
and look, listen, and look, you wear
it well,
huh?
Lady T wears it well.
I'm trying
I
to
was always
calm
worried
it
about.
down.
I was always worried about Dennis fighting, but
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yo, she aggressive, right? She aggressive. She's a
I'm trying to
real.
that would need to be said though.
No, of course.
No,
I
I'm
told her.
fine with that.
No, of course. She always say to people, be looking like, yo, you okay? You want to fight somebody?
I'm trying to get it together. I'm calming down.
No, listen. The storm is quieted down. But like I said, you've grown. So that's the most important thing. You've grown, you share more than what you supposed to have shared. And so that's growth.
And I'm single. I am so single. Like this single life is so great because I can express myself. I really, not to say that if I was in a relationship, I couldn't, but because I've had bad relationships, I'm not good at that. So I just feel like I have to step back from it, learn how to be in my singleness, right? And walk with God. We holding hands and, direct him, leading me. And I'm okay with that. That's why I feel much better about, myself.
Lady, how long has it been since you been in a relationship? No, not I ain't talking about. No, let me refrain from that. Not relationship, in a marriage.
Oh, it's been over going on 10 years, close to 10 years.
Look, 10 years, and you've been single for how long? Single, like no nothing, like just been just you.
This about going on 10 years.
So look, it may take you a longer time to just, because like you said, you still growing, you still getting to know yourself, because that's important. And the reason I said that is because being in your singleness is important, because you need to get to know yourself, not just you. I'm telling anybody, when you get to know yourself, if you see all the flaws that you have in your life and you got to fix those, it may take some time. And that goes for anybody. It takes time to heal from, those things that you went through. It takes time. It didn't take that much time for me, because I was like, yo, I ain't gonna be alone. God, I don't want to be alone. Sorry. I ain't say that to me. I just said that. I said, God, I don't want to be alone. So listen, I'm out here. Look, I said, I'm out here. I was out there. And I'm like, God, okay, look, I want the right woman for me. So listen, I don't want to be going to the strip clubs and just getting a little fix. Nah, I want somebody for me, my wild and crazy self in the Lord.
Yeah. You were saying something totally different than me. That's all. That's okay. I was not talking like that.
I was like, look, because I was wilding. I'm a free man. I'm like, okay, I'm going like out.
JT said that every episode I've watched.
What?
That you are saying something completely different than her.
Yeah, listen, I was wilding. I said, no, God, I feel you, but I need somebody in my lives. Yes, I do. But here I am.
Yeah, here you are.
Lady.
You're happily married. You're in a relationship. It's wonderful. So you have what you wanted. I think I'm going to be this single life for a good while. I say no thank you to everything because it's necessary.
That's your desire. That's your desire.
Yeah,
Can't nobody say nothing about that.
They think I'm crazy anyway. So
why?
Hey, I don't know. They think I'm crazy, so I say, all right, maybe it is me.
Listen, I told my wife already. I said, look, hey, if this don't work, that's it for me. I ain't gonna be no third time for me. That's it. Hey, I say 3 strikes and you're out. Nah, not me. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Be humble,
happy, and you healthy, and you have balance with yourself. You could do that single. You could do that married. You could do poly, whatever it is. As long as you're happy.
That's right. As long as you happy.
That's all that matters. There's a whole bunch of people that are together and they pissed off.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And hate to hear that because, it shouldn't be that way. It's hard. It's hard to be around somebody you really don't like and you don't want to be around. That's very difficult. I can't imagine it. I flee. I am a person. I have left all of them, so if it's uncomfortable, I don't stay. So I know that's something that I would have to work on, but that's not happening for me right now. So anyway, but the point is I can imagine those that are, in relationships that are uncomfortable. And so, yeah, it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough cookie. So I can't even speak on that. These silence.
But does it come like, okay, this is a good question. I'd never been in a long time relationship. But I can imagine that there was a time in your life, 20 plus, Mr. Black, where y'all don't want to talk to each other. You see each other every day. You like, do we talk to each other? Do we have some space? Is there ever a time like that in normal 20 plus year relationships? I'd imagine it is. So I listen to my parents and think that.
The biggest problem being somebody a long time is they have all the receipts. They know what button they can push. They know what they can remind you of. They see you pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Flaws and all.
Yep.
So there's always a risk, that someone will say or do something, can say or do something. But again, our value is we don't try to hurt each other. But there are some times where it's like, not just because of my wife, but sometimes just the rest of life too. And you're just like, it ain't that I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to anybody right now.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you. I'm mad at everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I need a minute.
Yeah.
And then understanding from the other person is that this is not about me. You just need a break. I got you. Not a break from me. You just need a break.
Right.
That's the tough one.
Yeah.
And I think having the freedom to communicate that in a healthy manner. I think a lot of times people, and I've done this all the time, like sometimes I really just need a break from everybody. And I don't say, hey, I need a break from everybody because I don't want to spare her. I don't want to hurt her feelings. But the fact that I need a break comes out in other ways anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because she knows she picks up on them. Right. And then because I didn't communicate, she doesn't know that I need a break from everybody.
Right.
You think I need a break from her.
Yeah.
So it's learning to just communicate and trust that you're not hurting the person's feelings by saying, this is what I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got 7 more years to work on it. So
Lord have mercy.
So D, we gonna get ready to get out of here, but I gotta ask you a question though. So you've been married for 20 some years, right? Have you ever took a vacation with fellas or by yourself?
Nah, I mean the closest we did was like
No, you
mm-hmm.
and fellas. Nobody, not the wife, not the kids, it's you.
No, I'm trying to answer that.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
The closest I came to that was Jamil's wedding weekend. When we did the stuff with Jamil. That's the closest. Frankly, I don't know like 3 other guys I'd want to spend like a week with or a weekend. So for me, I just like to go out by myself. I'll go hiking. Like the picture I got behind me is me up North Carolina and Virginia, out in the wilderness by myself. I'll do that for 3 days. So if that counts, sure, I've done that by myself. And that's been great.
So somebody asked a good question. Can you know God without reading the Bible? What y'all think? What y'all think about that? Can you know God without reading the Bible?
I think you can, because you can have a personal relationship with God. From reading the Bible, you're learning other people's relationships. All those books are named after somebody. So somebody will say, here's the story. Here's my story of my relationship with God. You may be able to learn some things about God based on my story, but you can actually go to God directly. That's what prayer is. So as long as you can pray and you believe that God is giving a message back to you, you can know God through that.
Beautiful.
It's like saying, can you drive your car without reading the manual? Right. Sure. You might not know everything the car can do.
Right.
But you can still drive the car. That's my thought.
And I'm glad you said it. You said that was nice, because you know what? So to answer that question for this person, guess what? You can know God, but the Bible is your manual. Just like you have a manual to drive the car, you have a manual. So you can learn to drive the car without reading the manual, but there's things in the manual that's going to guide you to drive correctly. And this is the same thing with the Bible. You'll have a relationship with God, but in reading that is going to enhance your relationship. because there are things that you still need to have that relationship with God. It's not just knowing him. There are other things, because guess what? If you have a relationship with God and you don't pray, you're not communicating with God. And you have and having a relationship, you have to communicate. Lady T, you wanted to add something to that?
No, it's beautiful.
So listen, I hope let me put this back into the chat, because I want people to know that there's a GoFundMe for this 5-year-old. He has a rare condition of cancer. I'll put this back in here, and because it was.
Will you text that to me as well?
Okay. Let me put this back in here. Yeah, because he goes to my wife's church, and they asked me could I put it up on the podcast, and I said I would.
Brianna Hall. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
It was great having you, Mr. Black.
Yes,
being here. It was great hearing the wisdom directly. If I could ask my questions without having to type them into the chat.
It was lovely to have you, and you always welcome. Listen, this is always, we always hear. We're here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 6:30, from the battle to the glory, and this is just a smooth conversation. Just indulging in things like conversations like this, and that's what we're doing. And hopefully, it will change people's lives, relationships, marriages, being a better parent, and just grow on one another. So that's what we try to do here always. And with that being said, guys, we will see you guys next week. Be blessed and have a great weekend. D,
Amen.
Talk to you later. All right, brother. Let's do this right here.